Hello, guys and gals. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Super Cinema Brothers podcast. I'm Zach Berman, here with my co-host.
Ethan Berman.
And we're a little late on account of the horrible storms in Texas that kind of ruined an entire week.
Yeah.
For everyone. But we're back. And unfortunately, the second episode did not do very well at all. We're sitting at about 3 views. Pretty big dip from the first one. But I think it's time we take the training wheels off, be professionals, and podcast like adults. So now let's talk about this animated children's film. Today we are talking about My Neighbor Totoro.
Woo!
It was released in 1988. It's written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki and produced by Studio Ghibli. We've watched at least one other movie from them before, together.
We watched Spirited Away together.
Spirited Away. I think that one's still probably my favorite.
I really like this one.
But this one might be number 2.
This one's really good.
So this was released in 1988 in Japan. And it didn't come to America until... well, in theaters in America until 1993. But in 1989, there was a dub that was done for airplanes.
What?
So the only way to watch this movie for a few years was if you were on a Japan Airlines flight.
With an English dub.
With an English dub, yes. And I assume that's the one I saw as a kid. Because it eventually came to VHS and Laserdisc. Yeah, so that would have been what I saw. And it came out in DVD in 2002, but then Disney got the rights to distribute it. And the rights for the dub were gone.
Yeah.
So that's what that's the one that I listened to. Because I watched both versions for the podcast. Ethan and I together only watched the subs. But the dub's pretty good. The new one. I don't know what the old one was like.
You don't remember it at all?
Yeah, it was just this weird movie in the 90s that you'd see every once in a while at the video store.
Wonder if we could get our hands on an original VHS.
Or how about an original Laserdisc?
I don't think we have a way to watch that, Zach.
Oh well. But yeah, so... weird release. It was released on airplanes in English.
That's... I guess it kind of makes sense. It's just weird.
Yeah, they must have been really wanting to get more people to see it, and no studio was brave enough to release this weird Japanese movie.
Yeah, because if that's the case, then it wasn't... it was a Japanese company that did the English dub and then released it.
Yeah, so it was only on Trans-Pacific flights by Japan Airlines.
Oh my, wow.
For 3 years. So that's probably one of the strangest releases I've ever heard of. But there's not a whole lot of box office data. It made, as of September 19th, $41 million in the box office. But $277 million from home video sales. And $1.142 billion from merchandise.
Good lord. Because they have... isn't, like, Cat Bus, like, they're huge...
Yeah, people like Cat Bus and Totoro plushes.
Mm-hmm.
And Hayao Miyazaki does not like merchandise.
Yeah.
But his logic is, if someone's going to do it, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
So it's all official. They don't it's all, like, approved. And yeah, so apparently they just sell a shitload of Totoro merchandise. Which I can see why. He's basically Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Totoro and Cat Bus are both adorable.
Like, they're iconic in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this movie is the simplest one that we've done so far, which is good.
Not a whole lot goes on.
We don't have a complicated plot like Snowpiercer or whatever.
It's most of the stuff that happens is little kid and Totoro are cute.
It's the best movie where nothing happens that I can think of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine that nothing happens in this movie.
Because like one of the big things that happens, nothing actually happens.
Yeah.
It turns out that nothing happened. Everything's fine.
But it starts in 1958 Japan. And there's a family. It's a college professor and his two daughters. Satsuki is the older one, Mei is the young one.
Yeah.
And they move into a new house in the country. And that's the beginning. Oh, we open though with the Totoro song. I don't know what it's called.
The Totoro song. It's so good.
I don't know what it's called. I just call it the Totoro song.
It's so good.
But the opening credits play, and there's little animations of little creatures walking around, and it's just this delightful little children's song.
It's adorable.
And we'll get to the score, which is all the music in the movie is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we, as they're going, we get introduced to that little boy character.
What's the little boy's name again? I don't remember.
He's
not in the summary.
I remember what we called him, but I don't want to say it.
Kanta?
Yes, I think.
Kanta. You can guess what we called him because he's a little twerp.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go and you're introduced to the little kid in the town who's like a farmer kid, and they get to the house and immediately the girls are running around.
Yeah.
They're so excited.
Also, it's a really shitty house, but it's really cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a dump. Yeah, so they're running around the house, and that's where we see the first creature, the little soot spirits.
Yeah, the soot spirits.
Or in the subs, dust bunnies.
Dust bunnies, which actually I'm fairly certain they mention is wrong. That's not what they're called.
Yeah, I think Granny says something.
Yeah, Granny says something, but...
We're introduced to Granny. We don't know her name, but she just says to call him Granny.
Yeah.
Or in the subs, Nanny, which is weird.
But she's the one who... She was the caretaker for the house before they bought it.
Yeah, but she tells them that the soot spirits will go away once they've settled in.
And that only children can see them.
Yes, and you see them when you go from someplace bright to someplace dark.
Yeah.
And it's cute because after they get settled in, they all fly away.
They fly away off into the moonlight.
Yeah, and so there's a day where May's walking around and she sees these two little cat things running around.
The one that kept leaving the acorns around.
Yes, and she follows them through like this tunnel of bushes, and that's where she finds a giant tree. And inside, there's a sleeping creature.
A very large creature.
He's massive.
He's so huge, and he looks a little bit like the other two creatures.
Yeah, and she starts like fucking with him.
She climbs up on his giant fat belly and is like poking his nose.
Yeah, and he's like mildly interested, but he just wants to sleep. And that's where he roars, and it sounds like Totoro.
Kind of.
It sounds a little better in the dub.
It does? Okay. Because in the sub, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's like just 3 syllables that kind of sound like Totoro.
It's like 2 short roars and a big one.
Yeah.
And so she calls him Totoro. And she falls asleep on Totoro, and then that's where Satsuki finds her, but Totoro is gone.
She is not in the tree anymore. She's in a little clearing in the tunnel.
Yeah, and she gets a little upset, but her dad says that you can only see Totoro when he wants you to.
Yeah, because it's she gets the. I guess Totoro does kind of make sense because it's she read about a character in a book named Totoro, and so she applies the name to what we know as Totoro because he's kind of like him from the book.
Yeah, Totoro's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot, but
weird mole cat thing.
This is where we get. I should bring up. I am not an expert, even close, but Shinto. Shinto is the major religion in Japan, and I believe Totoro is what's known as a kami.
Probably.
Yeah, also like a forest spirit.
Yeah.
Kami are, a lot of people will translate it to God, but they really aren't gods.
No.
And some people will translate it to spirits, but they're not really spirits.
They're like protectors and or manifestations of things within nature.
Yeah, and there's everything can be a kami basically.
Yeah.
But in this case, he would be like a forest kami.
Yeah.
And even when they go back there, there's some Shinto rope wrapped around the tree.
Yeah, they end up going to the shrine to the forest, I believe.
Yes, and then not much else happens. We learn that because they don't tell you immediately, but we learn that the reason they moved is to be closer to the hospital where their mother is staying.
Yes.
With an unspecified illness, and so that's what I like about this movie, where you can look at it as Totoro and all these spirits and the cat bus sort of are ways for the girls to cope with their mom being in the hospital.
Yeah.
They're like using their imagination.
Yeah, it's not clear whether or not Totoro actually exists or not.
There's one part later on that I think kind of proves that he is. I like to believe that he is real.
I personally like to believe that some parts of things that happen are real, and then other things he kind of like makes figments of imagination.
Yeah, like magic.
Yeah. Like with the tree, when they grow the tree and they fly around, I don't think they actually grow the tree and fly around.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of like a shared dream thing, maybe? I don't know.
And shortly after this, there is I guess May is like upset. And so Granny takes her to Satsuki's school.
Oh yeah, it was because the dad had to go to work. He had to go to the school, so May was staying with Granny, but May wanted to be with Satsuki.
Yes, so it's cute. She's got her she's like sitting in the school.
Yeah.
In between two other students. And she's like drawing her little Totoro pictures.
It's very Baby Yoda in that episode of Mandalorian.
Yes.
Where he goes to the school and sits down and eats the macaroons.
Yeah. And so Satsuki has yet to see Totoro. She thinks May's made it up.
Yeah.
But then there's a night where they're waiting at the bus stop for their dad to come home from work.
Yeah, it's raining, so they wanted to bring him his umbrella because he forgot it.
Yeah, and he doesn't get off the bus.
No, he doesn't get off the first bus.
And so they just sit there. May is falling asleep. So Satsuki's like carrying her on her back.
Yeah.
And then they look over, and Totoro's at the bus stop.
With his little tiny leaf on his head, trying to protect him from the rain. And so Satsuki offers him one of their two umbrellas, their dad's umbrella.
And it's my favorite scene in the movie.
It's adorable
because he loves the way it sounds when the rain hits it.
Yeah, because he's so surprised by it, so much so that he jumps up and down to make the water on the leaves above him fall down.
It's the cutest thing.
It's so cute. I love Totoro so much.
Yeah, he just really likes the sound of the rain coming from the trees. And then this is where we get Cat Bus.
Yes.
Because his bus is a cat.
It's a cat where the taillights are rats, and the door is a window that stretches open.
Yeah.
Oh, it should be creepy, and it should be very unsettling, but it's just adorable.
Yeah, because as with these kinds of movies, as long as the kids aren't scared, you ain't scared.
Yeah.
Because he could be terrifying. But something I think it was Miyazaki himself was talking about Cat Bus, where the idea of Cat Bus is that it's the old versus like merging with the modern.
So it's like
it's like an old cat spirit. that has adapted to modern technology. So now he's also a bus.
So it's like that weird merging of old fashioned Shinto with
modern society.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so to say thank you, Totoro gives them the little package.
Oh yes, he gives them the packet. I forgot about that.
And when they get home, they open it up, and it's just
acorns. Just a bunch of acorns.
Yeah, Totoro likes acorns.
All three of the Totoros love acorns.
Yeah, it's
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's really cute. But then the dad's bus comes back. He had to work late and missed the first bus.
Yeah.
So he's not dead or anything.
No.
Because like the first time you watch it, you're like, oh no, did something bad happen to the mom and like, or the dad?
Yeah.
And now the dad's in the hospital too, but no, he's good.
And the thing I love about it is that when Totoro left on Cat Bus, he took the umbrella with him. So the entire reason they went to the bus stop to meet the dad is gone because they can't give him his umbrella because Cat Bus took the umbrella. Not Cat Bus, Totoro.
Totoro stole theirs. Just ganked it.
So like they're just standing there like we were waiting for you.
So it's not just acorns though. There's some other seeds in there, and they plant those seeds. And that's where we get a few days later they wake up and they look outside, and Totoro and his smaller Totoros are doing a little dance around the seeds. Well, and so like their dad's like working late. He's like grading papers, and they go outside and they do the little dance with their putting their hands up in the air.
It's like that Dark Souls emote.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
Yeah.
Like they do a little dance and then they do like praise the sun to like force the seeds to sprout and grow, and they do.
They grow massive.
It works, and they grow very tall.
Yeah, and they get a big tree, and then this is where Totoro has he's a spinning top that he flies on. I don't know what it is. I don't know where they got the idea of a top.
And I don't know where he carries it or anything.
Yeah, but they fly around.
They fly around a little bit, and it's
really cute, and the music is fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah, we determined that it was one guy who does all of the movies, right?
Yeah, he's done all of Miyazaki's movies, I think, or all of them since he first started working with him.
Okay, well, yeah, it wouldn't have been the first one.
No,
the first one was not Studio Ghibli.
No, but all the ones Miyazaki did with Ghibli, he also did with this composer.
Yeah, and it's great. Very emotional scores. The music can make you feel just as much as the movie can.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. But when they wake up in the morning, there is no giant tree, but all the plants have sprouted.
Yeah, they're little tiny sprouts. So
so
clearly something happened.
I like to think it's a little wink, being like, yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we get to the part where the mom is supposed to come home from the hospital for a visit.
Yeah.
But it has to be canceled because she's gotten worse. May is not happy about that. And so she throws a bit of a fit, and then she gets a piece of corn that she picked with
Granny. Their plan was to get some vegetables and stuff and to take them to the mom in the hospital so that she'll get better.
Yeah, so she tries to go on her own with an ear of corn.
Well, because as they're picking them, Kanta runs up and is like, hey, we got... he's like a messenger or something.
Yeah.
And he has a message for... what's the older sister's name?
Satsuki.
He's got a message for her that I think it's specifically for the dad, and it says something about calling the hospital.
Yeah, and that's how we learn that.
That's what causes her. That's what causes May to freak out. And
It's never clear what's wrong with the mom, and it's not clear what happened to the mom.
exactly.
But we know that she's gotten worse, and so May runs away with the corn and goes missing, and everybody in the town's looking for her.
Yep.
And so finally, Satsuki's able to find Totoro's tree. And she's like, I need help finding May. And Totoro doesn't talk, but he's like... And then Cat Bus appears. And so she gets to ride around in Cat Bus looking for her sister.
Just Cat Bus leaping all around, and like it's weird because like people can't see Cat Bus, but they can see like Cat Bus will run around and like run past some fields with some plants in them, and the plants will move, and people notice that the plants move.
Yeah.
And so it's weird that like they can't see Cat Bus, but they can see what Cat Bus is doing.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's never clear if anything's real or fake. They always, it's kind of, it could be, there's little hints in there. But I forgot the Granny finds a shoe in a pond. It's the darkest part of the movie.
And that like all of the adults are like dredging the pond looking for May, and then Satsuki ends up coming there and is like, it's not her shoe.
But it is her shoe. It's the same shoe.
It is.
They show him earlier.
It's the exact same shoe, but she's like, it's not her shoe, and it's like, I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, May's fine. But also it implies that there's another dead girl in the pond.
Yeah.
Whose shoe was it?
I think it was her shoe, but that Satsuki didn't want to believe that her sister was dead.
But when she finds her, she has two shoes on.
Does she?
I think so. I think it's just like similar shoe. So maybe she found it and it's like, oh, it's not the right size.
That could be it. I don't know. Because then that's a really dark, unanswered question.
Whose shoe was it?
Whose shoe was it, and why was it in the pond?
It's the next one's going to be My Neighbor Totoro 2. It's R-rated. And it's like a David Fincher thriller. They're trying to find who's drowning the kids.
Or it's just some Gone Girl shit where some little girl faked her death.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's a weird scene. But it has to happen because you need to have some emotional beat there.
Yeah.
You need to build the tension and then you need to release it, so. When she ends up finding her, they go to the hospital and they look in the window and that she leaves the corn. This is why I think Totoro's real. Yeah. She leaves the corn there, and then it's there for real. It's not in their head. It's not like the tree. It doesn't disappear.
And they what happened? The thing is like because they get there and Cat Bus, Satsuki and May are sitting up, perched up in a tree, looking in the window, and they see the dad and the mom there. Where they talk about like nothing really bad happened, like it was just some random thing.
She had a cold, and they just wanted to keep her in the hospital.
Exactly.
2 more days.
And so it was like they didn't need to call you and cause trouble and all that stuff, but they see the corn in the window, and then they think they see something up in the trees.
Yes, because they were chilling in the tree
with Cat Bus.
Totoro.
And Totoro wasn't there. Cat Bus was.
And then the mom comes home.
Yeah.
And it's just a happy ending with the little monsters all, looking out from the woods to see the happy family reunited.
With the 3 Totoros up on top of the Tree of Might.
Yes.
Playing their little flutes.
Talk about a bad dub, Tree of Might.
Oh,
old Dragon Ball dubs are so bad.
Cause that wasn't the Funimation one, was it?
Mm-mm. Ocean something.
Yeah, because I don't think Funimation ever did a Tree of Might dub.
But I'm looking at some photos here, and apparently they built for some event, a replica of the house.
What?
Yeah, and
I want
I
one.
want to go there. There is like Studio Ghibli Museum.
Yeah. And don't they have a giant cat bus?
Yes, you can go inside them.
Yeah.
And then they've got I think it's from Castle in the Sky. This full size robot.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then I think they have people dressed up as Totoro too.
Yeah. So out of 5, what would you give this?
I give it a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. I give it a 5 out of 5 too.
I love this film.
It's just if you look at bad reviews for it, a lot of people say if I wanted to watch nothing happen for, an hour and a half, I'd just stare at a wall.
The thing is that's a fair criticism, except for the fact that if I stare at a wall, I don't get really cute giant cat mole creatures.
And music that makes you want to cry.
Yeah. I don't get cat bus.
Yeah, and
I don't get cute shit.
I think that's what the biggest strength of this movie is. There is no plot. There's no story really. It's just about 2 young girls coping with the possibility that their mom's gonna die.
Yeah, there's no real plot. It just makes you feel stuff.
It's imaginative and it's whimsical, and it's all about just sort of like making you feel warm. And some people, I guess, just can't handle movies like that.
They can't handle good emotions, Zach.
Yeah.
Or even like they can't handle the little cute bits in between the part where you think the mom is dead.
And I think the biggest strength of the movie is that it has those long stretches of just the girls living their life.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you get Totoro shows up, Cat Bus, the Soot Spirits, who show up in Spirited Away.
Yes, they do.
And it's just an all around. It's not really a movie that you watch for a story. It's a movie about an experience.
Yeah.
You experience.
Absolutely.
That's like David Lynch always says. What is it?
That's just weird, Zach. Just being like, My Neighbor Totoro. It's as David Lynch always says, it's about the experience of the film.
Yeah.
It's like,
actually, My Neighbor Totoro and Eraserhead not so different.
Eraserhead, his most spiritual movie.
Yeah. Elaborate on that.
No. Oh, I wonder if David Lynch has seen My Neighbor Totoro.
I guarantee you he has.
Wonder if he loves it.
Probably. It's similar to something that he would make, where it's not really about a plot. It's about the emotional impact of the things that are happening and the characters. And it's not about whether it's really happening or if it's actually magic. It doesn't matter.
This is very random, but we're talking about David Lynch and things about nothing. And I just remembered, what's it called? That short film he did recently, What Did Jack Do?
Oh, with the monkey?
With the monkey and the dance break. It's like
the musical number.
The musical number, and it's just like, what is this movie? And it's that short film is made so well because right when you're like, hey, I'm tired of David Lynch and this monkey saying things that don't mean anything to each other, you get a musical number.
Yeah. That actually reminds me, I'd have one more movie to add to the hat. I'm gonna Eraserhead.
I thought that was already in there.
It was at one point, and I forgot that it was on HBO. Alright, so, yeah, this is a shorter one, but it's a short movie.
It's a short movie where not a whole lot happens, as we said multiple times.
Yeah, but I would highly recommend this for anyone, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
Little kids would like this movie a lot, because there's bright colors and music, and
cute things.
Cool, little spirits. A little giant cat that is a bus.
Giant, 2 giant cats.
Yeah, because Totoro is very cat-like.
I still think he's very mole-like.
He looks like a mole a bit.
Yeah, especially with his claws.
Yeah, he has like badger claws or mole claws.
Yeah, Badger's actually probably more accurate.
Yeah, because he's still got the big pointy ears that stick out. I love his giant mouth.
His giant mouth that starts off really tiny when he's sleeping, and then like stretches to be almost the entire width of his head.
And then he has a creepy smile.
Mm-hmm.
It's just great. All the designs of creatures and Miyazaki movies are fantastic. Yeah. They're just amazing. Everything in like the radish spirit and Spirited Away.
Yeah.
He's in the elevator. He's got like the little roots hanging down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soot spirits were such a good design that he used them twice.
Yeah. Which movie came out first?
Oh, this one.
This one?
Yeah, Spirited Away was like 2001.
Oh, yeah.
Because it came out pretty much immediately after it came out in Japan.
Okay.
It's all the old ones that had the delays.
So it's when they had already established that Studio Ghibli was a thing that could be successful here.
Yeah. They're really big. They're finally releasing them in over the last few years. They were releasing them in China for the first time, where they were like blockbusters. People lined up to see My Neighbor Totoro like they were lining up to see the Avengers. But yeah, so Studio Ghibli is so universal, even China likes it.
Yeah.
And with their weird government.
And China doesn't like Winnie the Pooh. No,
China loves Winnie the Pooh.
China loves Winnie the Pooh. They love their dictator Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So fun movie. I watch it every once in a while. Makes me feel good. Same with Spirited Away. This one didn't make me cry this time. Spirited Away usually does. It's the scene where she's on the train.
Yeah. And
the music plays. Because it's just her sitting on a train with music. And every time I'm like a little baby. It's just such an emotional sort of scene. So let's grab one out of the hat. I don't know how many are in here this time. I had to take a bunch out because they got off of streaming.
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead!
The one we just added.
Alright, we'll have to watch that soon.
Oh, God.
You're gonna like it.
Wait, so...
Well, I don't know if you'll like it. You'll feel something about it.
Alright, so it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Snowpiercer, My Neighbor Totoro, Eraserhead.
Yeah, and this is our first art house movie.
We're doing a real variety, Zach.
It's a surprisingly easy movie to talk about. Like, you'll see that it's not complicated.
It's also very spiritual, as I've heard.
Yeah. I also don't think it's hard to understand. There's certain visuals and metaphors he uses that I don't get, but I understand what the movie is saying.
Yeah.
When it gets to the part with why his name is Eraserhead, that I don't understand. I have no idea what that is. But the movie itself, like, I understand what he's going for. I understand the emotions that he's trying to convey. Because that's what... You're not supposed to understand the plot of a David Lynch movie. You're supposed to understand the emotions.
Yeah.
It's about how a David Lynch movie makes you feel. But yeah, so maybe this one will be a little... We're at 37 minutes, so... Shorter than the other ones. Maybe that'll help get some more people in. It's a movie everybody loves.
Or should love.
Yeah, not everybody's seen Snowpiercer, but a lot of people I know have seen My Neighbor Totoro.
Or at least some Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah, so if you watch it on YouTube, give us a comment. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes... Go ahead, give us a 5-star review. Tell us, how we did. Maybe even be like, I'd like for them to do this movie. And we could add it to the list.
Yeah, we can put it in the hat.
Yeah, we need to get a little bit more audience engagement, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe, give us a comment. Tell us what you thought.
Spread the word. If you like this, tell other people you think might like it about it.
Yeah, so subscribe. review.
Do the things.
Yeah, do all the stuff, and we'll see you next time with Eraserhead, which
Good
may be
Lord.
our final episode because we've already climbed the mountain.
we've gotten to the peak of film podcasting, talking about Eraserhead.
How long is that movie? 89 minutes. So we're in for an hour and a half long nightmare. It's like a fever dream.
Good Lord.
But it's got Eraserhead himself is played by Jack Nance, who was in Twin Peaks.
Oh, who was he in Twin Peaks?
He found Laura Palmer's body.
Oh, he was what's his face?
Yeah.
Can never remember his name or why he
Pete Martell.
Yeah.
Because he's involved with the sawmill.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just one little fun fact about Eraserhead. We're gonna go a lot into the production probably if I do my research, but basically, they filmed it over the course of like 4 years, because he made it while he was in art school.
Yeah.
And so that meant that Jack Nance had to have that hair for 4 years. Yeah, so we'll see you next week with Eraserhead, and until then, take it sleazy.
Oh my god.
Is that a good way to sign off?
No, but I think it also might be the best one we do.
All right. Well, take it easy, guys. Adios.
Bye.